Hello there. So just a bit of a short video on how to weld up quarter panel holes on utes. So basically this side here has been welded up, both sides have been done. It had love handles along here. Now it also had the tonneau cover holes welded and the two pinholes here welded shut where the mould was glued on. Problem with these, they'd leak under there, they get rust holes, and then all the water goes down onto the sill panels internally. So one thing I'd like to explain how I do things with these Falcons. These inner bits here are glued, structurally glued and spot welded. There's a spot weld between every 3 prong on your tonneau pin, and they go all the way along the insides of your quarters. So you drill them out and you unpick the glue, and you actually have to manually clean the structural panel bonded forward glue off the panel. You know, so there it is there, the glue between, and all the holes welded up. Now what I do, I weld the holes up with a copper block, because what that does, it soaks all the heat, it takes all the heat out of the weld. So you get no buckle or very little. That's straight off the welder. This side hasn't even been tapped up yet. This side's had a bit of a dress up, been dressed up a bit, but I haven't actually got right into it yet. So, you know, with the way I do quarter panels, when you pull those inner bars out, you'll get little pull marks. Where's one there? You can sort of see the pull there, where the glue was, where I pulled the inner bit away, and pulled dents on the outer. But now I can get a dolly in there and access both quarters and beat them up nice. You want very minimal filler. Any sort of street car, show car, whatever you want to do with it, is 3 inches of bog isn't a good thing. So there's the copper block I use. You know, it's like a dolly, but you want a nice thick copper block. Copper's the best because it'll soak the heat really quick and good. Once you MIG weld with that behind it, one hand holding it behind, all the heat goes into that, and you don't remove that until you get compressed air and cool your weld. Then you remove it. So, you know, this ute's a little bit custom. It has a late model Hilux reverse handle, camera handle in. It's going to have a DVD screen. You know, the other main issue with these older vehicles, you can see where I've welded them up there, is the seam sealer in the gutters dries up, cracks, and it lets water into the cant rails, and then you get rust holes in places you don't like. Like the wiper box on this was rust free, so therefore I know I'm never going to unpick it or replace it. So I seam welded the whole wiper box one end to the other. They also leak water along here, so I've seam welded that pinch weld. You know, they only put dodgy sealer in there. I've seam welded along there, and I've full seam welded the gutters, and that's no bog or filler or anything. That's straight off the grinder. That's metal and then epoxy primer. These gutters will require no sealer. The other thing I'd like to mention is everywhere I've welded on this vehicle, I've penetroled straight penetrol behind it in spray cans or whatever. Rust guns, whatever you want to do. An old engineer told me, you know, like for example, he got me onto it. This roof skin here, I was lazy and I stripped it to bare metal, and I just brushed it with penetrol. I wanted to test it out. I left it for like 3 months in the weather. Didn't rust a millimetre. Penetrol is excellent in box sections, all in behind your welds. You know, like I brushed it over them because that's just dodgy 1K until I get back to it. Once I run the buff over it, I can see any little imperfections in the quarters, and I'll get there with the right dolly and hammer and tap the whole quarter panel up. You know, this ute was pretty tidy. It wasn't a, you know, rust bucket to start with. But yeah, here's an example. You know, you can see, sort of see that brown tinge in there from the penetrol I've pumped all through it, and it dries rock hard and clear, and it penetrates better than water can. But this vehicle's been weathered, never had penetrol near it. So, you know, the old sealer, you can imagine in there, Seal is let go there, water gets into the seals, into the seams, and you get rust. I've also, as you've seen in other videos, I've done the welding, welded a 4mm plate in the bottom. The door handle's broken, I don't have one, eBay, but you know, the door opens and shuts. It's got a glass in there. I stripped the door out, but you know, it's never going to play up again. No more cracky dory. So there's another example where the water gets in through the seams and rusts those spots out, but that's easy for me. Like penetrol it all up, it'll never rust again. It'll hold it until I repair it. I'll pull the whole dash out of this and I'll sectional repair it, as the panel beater calls it. Sectional repair. But yeah, it's easy. These are good old cars and I love how wide they are. I love XHUs. You know, beautiful old bit of gear. I love the lines and the shapes with the XD arse with the new EL front. But anyway, just thought I'd tell you about how I do things. It's no big secret. Every panel beater I know knows how to use a copper block behind the holes because it soaks all the heat up, corrects it, and you don't get buckle. You don't get panel buckle. And of course, you've got to remove that inner thing, otherwise you can't get a dolly on there. You know, how are you going to get a dolly behind your welds to tap the welds out? You know, this quarter panel here had old damage, oxy shrink, so it's probably had a bit of a hit. An old lady owned this here, but yeah, you know, had an accident there. I'd done that one, a few oxy shrinks in it just to bring it back because the metal stretches. Any dint that goes in when it comes out, it's stretched, so you're going to get a high spot. I love oxy. But yeah, there's my custom bar I done, all on there. I only put it on there just for now to get it out of the way. No room here. But yeah, all smooth, no lines, no reflectors, no spare wheel hole, no tow bar tongue. This one it will never tow again. Don't want it to be a tower. I want it to be a sports utility. But yeah, anyway, there you go. I'm raving on now. There's a bit of rave on about penetrol, copper blocks and welding methods. Compressed air. Heat is your enemy.